In a world where information seems to travel at the speed of light and traffic at a snail's pace, where the agenda of those at the helm doesn't always reflect the pressures on the streets, where the rubber hits the road, where there's queue of issues needing to be interrogated in the name of speaking truth to power.
Welcome to a place at the table,
where we set the agenda,
table the issues that matter to you,
and invite you to take a seat at the table.
As we navigate the complexities of 2025, it's essential to develop strategies that promote resilience, growth, and well-being.
First of all, shout out to Coach Kate.
I agree with everything you have said, except one. See, that's current events.
You don't want to wake up tomorrow and find out that something is happening and you are not aware of it.
That something is happening, except I'm the one that caused the something that is happening. But me being aware is not going to change anything.
It's absolutely important that you stay up to date with current events.
You see that current affairs, current news? Nah, because there's so much. And then when you're empathetic, it's just like you wake up, so number of people have been killed. For me, it's just not numbers. Then I'm thinking, that could have been me.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people just live life like just going without even understanding what's happening.
A lot of us just live life on autopilot.
Yeah.
Courage is not the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of fear.
The night of June 13th, 2025, a brutal assault was unleashed on villagers in Yelewata.
When it comes to Benue, we always look at it as if it's farmers' headers, clash that is going on. It's terrorism, and it's across Nigeria.
200. It's not chickens. It's not even cockroaches, it's lives.
The president, after so much clamor, realized that he has to go and visit the place. And then somebody from the state that's supposed to be mourning had the audacity to push out a press release to tell support groups, come and welcome the president in mass. Does that look like a place that solution is going to come out from?
I feel like we are missing a very vital information. The part where they said they got some terrorists, but they took them to rehab.
You said 17 of our security forces were killed. Those people were killed by repentant terrorists.
Tragedy in Benue is a leadership disaster.
How is it that the whole world is not talking about this? You're watching this special live edition of A Place at the Table, streaming on all our social media channels, curated to ensure you occupy your seat at the table. Join us in sending your comments, with the panel will tackle as they said. We have some comments coming in from our last advocacy. Keep them coming and we'll engage with them. We have Dixon Adamson saying, my mama, Mama Aisha Yusufu, just giving shout outs there. Dixon Adamson also says, today's victims were once yesterday's survivors. Angela says, I agree to be a master of something. One needs to repeat it over and over again. Please, can you throw more light on how one can be intentional? I guess we'll take that conversation offline. Keep your comments coming. Use the hashtag A Place at the Table and Twitter us at News Central TV. Next up is Aisha.
Well, I have a question. Is there any man or any boy child that is born with a checkbook? I really want to know if the male gender is born with a checkbook. Why is it automatically assumed that it has to be a man that foots the bill? It has become commonplace to see ladies asking about how a man's worth is dependent on how much he spends on them. It is almost as if the woman is seen as one who does not have the capacity to earn or to spend. I used to think it was a case of women who were not financially independent, until I was made to understand that it is sometimes even worse with women who have their monies. They can be more entitled. What is really heartbreaking is seeing a family of 2 household income living on one because the woman has been told that she must never allow herself to take on the role of a man. Imagine shortchanging your family, especially your children, denying them the opportunity for better quality education or higher standard of living just because you're told that you should not be contributing to the finances. Haba, why the self-inflicted punishment? Also, the behavior where some ladies on a date will order tons of food as if they had just been let out of prison That thing got to stop. It is embarrassing hearing stories of women abandoned to pay bills of tons of food they ordered. Worst is the one where ladies will be asking for transport money to visit someone. Is it a must to visit anyone? It is not giving at all. It is not giving prayer, as they say. It is giving erg. Let's do better. Putting yourself on the receiving end is very likely going to turn you into one who ends up selling themselves short. No man is born with a checkbook. The same way no woman is born with pots and pan. Let us focus more on strength-based roles rather than these gender-based roles. Life can be a whole lot better if we contribute as much as we can rather than being dead weight, be it domestic chores or in footing the bills. Oh yeah, where do I start?
No, she's the one that will take the
Give it up,
Okay, you want to be last? You want to be last? Okay, no problem. Elsie, let's go.
Okay, it's an interesting advocacy, and I think there are so many angles to it, right? But the one that is mental to me, right, is two household income having to rely on one.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I've not seen it happen. I have, and I don't understand how that works because it doesn't make sense to me. So why are you working? Why are you leaving your house Monday to Friday, however you work? Why? What is the purpose if you cannot contribute to the well-being of that home? If your children cannot get better because you are also bringing something in, that is the one I do not understand. I also like that you said no woman is born with pot and pan, right? And of course, no man is born with a checkbook. So I'm picking that because we did not just get here. There's also this gender role that we've all been fighting and saying women should be seen much more than, oh, you have to cook, right? If you're having a conversation with me and the first thing you're telling me is, what will you cook for me? There's no point responding first.
Jojo, can I say something? 1996, Valentine's Day. This guy, so no, please don't laugh. No, you see, don't laugh.
I'm not done.
No, wait.
I don't understand.
Let me tell you this thing.
Wait.
Sorry, let me just
Did I collect money from you, right?
No, so 1996 Valentine's Day. So this guy, he saw me, he was toasting me. I saw him the same day I saw my husband. And I fell in love with my husband. I fell in love at first sight, right? And this guy comes in on Valentine's Day. You know what he said to me? In school, he met me in school. I was still a student, BUK. And he says, oh, that he has rice in his house. He has bought chicken. I should come and cook for him. And I said to him, even me, I'm looking for who to cook for me. That was, for me, that was it. I'm telling you, he didn't bring, no, he didn't say anything. Just to tell me to come, I should leave school, to come to your house and cook. I just told him, I'm also looking for who is cooking for me.
So if you just finish my second part, that brides can be happy. I also think there are three parts to it. So the second one, quickly. I also think that men enable that entitlement because of the things that they demand for. And it's a case of, because you said, why are you requesting transport money to come and visit me? Now you say, make a come visit you first of all. I like to be in my house. But there are deeper, there are deeper conversations beyond what I just explained now, right? There are so many expectations that men also have for the women. Oh, look a certain way. Oh, cook my food. Oh, do this and do this and do that. And then that exchange begins, right? But the final one, which of course I'm guessing that's why he said I'm being politically correct. What happens in marriage and a committed relationship is definitely different from what I will do when I'm trying to date or to see if we are. I mean, I will not just wake up and meet you tomorrow. I've had someone say, please come and give me 1 million naira. Where do I know you from? I met you 2 weeks ago and I want to give you 1 million naira. As per what? Right? So there are stages to this relationship, and as you grow together and realize that this person is my person, then it's now important to begin to do things together and put finances together and know what to do, because I love comfort. I love my soft life. So if I have to bring the 20% or 30% out of the 100% to ensure that we get the kind of 20%, I've said my own, 20 or 30 to ensure that that comfort is there, I will bring it. I will. I said 20, 30, 40. Okay, I don't know why they are saying you take on. She's done. She's not done. I'm not done. She's not done. No. She's not done. No, I'm not done. Let's go. Hold on. And why I say that is, as a woman, whether you want to agree or not, it's more expensive to be a woman. From the money I'm making, I have to buy sanitary pads, which is very expensive. There's so many things that goes into it. And the way I'm brought up and the way I live my life, I'm not the kind of person that will wake up and come and tell you I want to buy pad. I want to buy on this, I want to buy. There's so many things that will also still take that money. So yes, when I tell you I'll bring 30 or 40% to make those things work, then there's also other things that takes that money that you probably won't even need to know about, right? So for me, like I said, there's stages to our relationship. If we're just talking, the things that I will do with my money with you, in fact, my money is your business at that point. Any more in that or just talking? What is the business of me anymore in the just talking? The fact that we are talking.
Oh, you thought, is it the talking stage?
No, it's the talking stage I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, pretty much, yeah, you can move on.
Over to you.
You know, this debate has been on forever. Where you hear the saying, your money is your money, my money is my money, your money is our money. All right? And it seems to have seeped into, it's been mainstream, so it has been accepted as the right thing. And for me, it negates the fundamental principles of marriage.
Yeah.
And these are two equals coming together to build something.
That's if he's married. What about relationship? This is what she's talking about.
Let's take it one. Let's take it. Let's take it one step after the other. Please. Because Aisha has talked about marriage first. Why started from the end? No. She talked about marriage first. She talked about two. Yeah, she talked about marriage.
It's okay.
So I'm talking.
Continue.
So, the idea here is that two people are coming together to build a home, all right? And so the fact that you think that your income should be totally dedicated to you, or you should only put in 20% of your income and then he should put in 100% of his, is completely, it negates the principle of marriage. And what it does is that it puts you in a very weak position.
Yeah.
Because when the man now tells you that, look, I don't want you here, or this property is mine, or whatever, you have no say. So if we are in this relationship together, your income, your money is our money. My money is our money. Period. Period. So what I always advocate, okay, I tell people that, because I actually wrote a book about this. I tell people, yeah, I did.
Please share copies.
I tell people that they should practice, maybe not, you might not want to do joint account, because people say, but do joint ledger. You understand?
For your expenses.
Account for it, all right? Your income is your income, my income is my income. At the end of the day, the idea is that we have projects. Project is house rent, school fees, and all that kind of stuff. And then we put resources together to be able to do it. We should not be talking percentages. By the time you start talking about percentages and things like that, you are already undermining yourself within that relationship. Now, I have a daughter, okay? She's 22 years old. And I tell her, I've been telling her for years, that the value of a woman is not determined by her femininity or her aesthetics as a woman. It's by the quality of what she thinks. So if you want to come into a relationship with a man, all right, and you are coming with it on the basis of your femininity, you're already underscoring yourself, because that femininity has an expiry date.
It does, oh.
So you need to go in and you say, the quality of my thing. And I tell her that, look, the moment you start shopping your wares to a man on the basis that, buy hair, buy this, and buy that. No, you're already shortcutting yourself. My father-in-law, before I got married to my wife, insisted that my wife had to have a job. I was already working. I was comfortable. I was fine. We're fine. I had my apartment. I had 2 cars. I was good. You understand? But my father-in-law said, no way. Yeah, she must get a job. She must have her own income. She must be independent. And if, as a woman, you don't have that as your basis, your baseline, you will be treated shabbily by men, and you will deserve it.
All the women who are independent, throw your hands up.
No, just one line.
Can I speak?
No, quickly, one line.
When do you want to speak? Can I speak?
No, you misunderstood something I said. I did not say the man will bring 100%. I said if there is a project that I want to do, and then I have to bring 40% to get this thing done.
No, you said 20%, not 40%.
That's not what I said. I said 20 to 40. That's what I said. I said 20, 30, 40. No, you can take it back. I said 20, 30, 40.
Okay, we said that. We have that.
Okay, so there are 3 parts to this advocacy. First and foremost, you men, I'm coming one after the other, just jailbreak. You say you're the head of the family, you're the breadwinner, you're the provider. People who carry all these titles on yourself. They don't want to carry the load. That's one. Two, there are some of you that say, oh, my wife should not work. She should be a homemaker and take care of the kid. When something happens, where is she contributing from?
Yeah, those ones are special.
Those ones are there. You men are there. I don't want her to work. I don't want her to go outside. I don't want her to. I'll be perfect. If something happens, what happens? How do you want her to help you? Then, two more. Those girls that you take outside. See, all of you girls, young girls, they take outside. You go and eat as if your throat is expanding. It's shameful.
Yeah.
It's very shameful. Have your vex money. Have your money. Have your money. Have some self-respect and dignity. It's so important. We're having a conversation just before we came on air today about women being able to spend on their man, and I have no problem with it. Spend on you yourself, buy him quality things. Don't go and buy handkerchief, nika, and all that. Buy him nice slippers, buy designer slippers, buy that watch. It might not be a Tag Heuer or a Rolex, but buy something nice and classy that he will use. Not all the time, necktie. How many times you go wear? You know, there are many parts to this.
Yeah.
I think each gender should hold themselves well, sound well, so that they won't be insults.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
I'm done.
Right.
Finish up.
Okay, so I'm going to address this from 4 different perspectives. The first one is the foundation. Where did all of this mindset, where does it come from? Right now, when we live in a society where there's a huge fight and there's progress for equality, right? In the workspace, you want to have a balance. I mean, look at this table. 3 women, 2 men. Well, it's still fine. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Point is, 100 years ago, this wasn't the case.
True.
The men were supposed to go out there, work, provide, come back home, and provide for their family. The wife was supposed to be at home, take care of the kids. That was the structure. There was no fight for equality, right? Fast forward
to 2025.
We now have, I'm not going to say that we're there where we have equality, but we've made crazy progress. I was at the YS event 2 days ago, and there were three ministers. Well, one was Minister of Trade and Investment from 3 different countries, and on that table, 3 women and 1 man. They were all ministers. That was exciting to see. Right? That means women are now making money too. Right? So you cannot want to take the culture of back then and then bring it when it suits you and say, okay, because no, you can't do that. Like, things have changed. Me and you went to the same primary school. We went to the same secondary school. We're in the same class.
I'm with you,
we now entered the same university. We sat in the same, what do you call it?
Place.
Yeah, place. We now got employed at New Central, 2 of us. They are paying towards the same salary. And then you want me to be the one providing for you. I mean, in what world does that make sense? How am I going to get the money from? Now, I'm going to move it to the impact of this mindset. There's a lot of women now that are single, and they're all complaining online that guys are not taking them seriously, or they would say, oh, he's dated me for 6 years, he has not proposed. Because he's not ready to take that full responsibility of you, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, and everybody. He's not ready. No, he's not ready.
That's 6 years.
I want to marry. Let me finish. No, it's not. See, think about this. Women have a different mindset, and men have a different mindset. I can tell you that if you pull up with support, right, it's faster to make that decision. But when I know that, first of all, you're very expensive to maintain.
Find the one in your price range.
Love is love. There's no price. It's not a dating market. If I want to get married, I want to be able to look at somebody and be in love with that person, regardless of what that person looks like. But I have my standards, right? Right? You get what I'm saying? But you cannot, if you have high maintenance, I want to marry you. Let me finish. I want to marry you, for sure, right?
Down.
Let me finish now. That's what I'm saying. They go through a process. A man goes through the process. He understands that if I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in place, by this time, I'll be able to make enough money to be able to say, I can take care of you. So calm down, chill. Let me go through that process. But you have been dating one married man that was 60 years old that has made all his money from when he was 50.
Why are you going outside?
Let me finish. No, let me finish now. You push, let me finish.
Finish.
This woman that's 50 years old, that has made all his money, and he has given you things that a young boy that's 25, 30, 35 cannot give you, and you expect that same thing from that guy. And this relationship that you're in with this married man is not a committed relationship. It's a transaction. But you want somebody that you want to be in a committed relationship with, to marry, to give you that same lifestyle. It's delusional.
Why are you there?
Finally, my advice. I like to close with this. My advice. To all the young men out there, the structure has already been created. The mindset is already there. So let me tell you something. 21 to 30, focus on yourself and figure your life out. Leave these women alone. When you figure your life out and you know and you have enough to take care of somebody, the approach. Until then, free.
Approach at your own rate.
My job.
This is where I come in. I know so many of you have things to say. We'll take it offline, but we have to also engage our studio audience. Aisha, I have to say the Brotherhood is very proud of you.
Thank you.
The Brotherhood that studies history. The Brotherhood that studies history has learned lessons from BUK in 1996 Valentine's Day. Don't do that, my fellow brothers. It reminds me of when I was in the world. This girl told me that last man destroyed their house in Ibutemeta, that she needs money. I'm like, is it because I love you? When did last man destroy houses? So let's take comments from our
also where your hand
audience.
reaches.
We should have our own.
Okay, I think this conversation is very controversial, and we're going to have a lot of opinion if we're going to. Well, I'll start from Jaja's ending statement, where he's saying that because I want to marry you, that's one thing that I picked. And I think that that's one thing that is usually very common when a guy meets a lady, and then when it comes to, oh, you need to calm down, I want to marry you. It's like, that's the price. So the way he was saying, I want to marry you, is like, I'm saving you from sisterhood. I'm saving you from starvation, from so many things like that. So I just feel that if we're going to look at it, yes, you are earning, I'm also earning, we have businesses. The foundation is communication, not anything other than that. Yeah. I earned this. This is what I expect from you as my partner. This is what you expect from me as your own partner. If it doesn't work, just let it go. Yeah. Don't say that I truly love you is why I want to keep on keeping on, because you keep on keeping on until you can't anymore. Yeah. And then maybe into the marriage, 1 year, 2 years into the marriage, you start to complain, either from the man's side or from the woman's side. She's now confiding in her friends, telling her that, I told him all of these things before we got married, though. He said he's working hard. He said he's doing the process. He said he's doing this, he's doing that. So I think that the expectations should be discussed even before the talking stage, even before visiting each other over the weekend, where you say, come to my house, we need to talk about what is what. I think that from the WhatsApp conversations, you can tell whether you want to go on with this person. It's not after sexual interaction. It's not after all of the commitments. Come and meet my mommy, come and meet my daddy. And then all of a sudden, all of this just cut off. Money issue, I'm so sorry. Money issue is always going to cause problems between men and women, because women think that that femininity that Yika mentioned is part of all of us, all women. We want to look good, both internally and outwardly. So either way, there's a sum of money that will always go to that, while the other can go into investing in any project or the other. Thank you.
You don't have to be dependent on
yes, from a guy.
And we move on.
Inibere doesn't want to talk.
The men like to talk politics.
Why is Inibere not
They
speaking?
want to talk politics.
Inibere should speak from a legal standpoint.
This is part of politics, though.
Okay.
No, this is real life. This is real life.
What I really think is the truth is that in marriages generally, there's always going to be that factor, that money factor. I'm married personally, and it has always been that challenge. I'll call it a challenge, because if my wife is bringing a certain quota to the table, and I'm also bringing a certain quota, but personally, what I believe in all this is that, you know, as a traditional man,
Let's go.
Let's have it. Let's have it.
Let him speak.
Let's have it. We're not shouting.
I'm looking at the standpoint of a traditional man. I've always believed in traditional gender roles because that was what I witnessed, or that was what I experienced growing up in my family. And I always saw my dad, you know, providing, being the main sole provider of the family. And sometimes my mom also pitching in. But there are certain, would I call it bills and roles in the home that are non-negotiable for me, you know, especially when it comes to paying the rent, when it comes to paying the children's school fees and things like that are non-negotiable for me. But then, you know, if the wife, I'm not saying women should be static, like just not contributing at all. But, you know, in certain ways, women should also contribute, probably in a percentage, like, okay, let's say 20% or 30%, you know, to the home. Not necessarily totally, you understand? But apart from that, I've always believed in men taking care of those responsibilities and having a balanced home, just to ensure a balanced home. Not necessarily where a situation whereby the man is the only one shouldering the responsibilities. And that's why a lot of men these days, you find them dying very early, at a very early age. And that is because they are taking, that is because they are taking a lot of responsibilities that they cannot, you know, manage. So thank you.
Next up is Bright. After the break, he'll present to us an interesting perspective. What if the system is working, but just not for us?
Say the system is broken, but what if it's not? What if it's working exactly as it's designed to, just not for you? Think about it. Insecurity, poverty, corruption, over and over again. Administration after administration. That's not failure, it's intentional. The system was built to protect itself, to serve a few, not many. It needs you to be poor enough to sell your votes, angry enough to fight your neighbors, tired enough to stop asking questions. The chaos isn't a mistake, it's a tool. Because if things really worked for everyone, the powerful lose control. So they keep the gates shut and the rest of us locked outside. So maybe the problem isn't that the system is broken. Maybe it's that we're not in it. And if we're not in it, we can't change it by standing outside. So what do? We show up, we organize, we stop waiting for miracles and start creating momentum. Because nothing, and again I say nothing changes until we stop playing by the rules that were never made for us. And nothing works for us until we build a system that actually includes us.
So we hear it said many times that the system is corrupt, or that corruption is part of the system. In fact, I recall the president saying that we cannot even, you know, fight corruption, or, you know, we can only reduce it. But I have a different take when it comes to the system in terms of corruption. I don't think corruption is part of the system. I think corruption is the system in Nigeria. It is how the system works. It's how the governance system works. It's how the financial system works. It's how the whole developmental system works. It's even how the faith-based system works. And I say this as somebody who has been in, I mean, apart from government, you know, I've not worked in the public sector in Nigeria. I've worked all my life in the private sector, but I've also spent quite a bit of time within the NGO sector. I've also spent, you know, a bit of my time within the faith-based sector, and I can tell you, for a fact, that whatever system we hold today that we think is a system is actually run by corruption. That is, a way of doing things that is not compliant with the way it should be done. And so it leaves you with a dilemma. And if you're somebody that is propelled by values, I mean, I spoke last week about my dad, training us as people who integrity is not just a buzzword, it's actually a way of life. And one of the realities I had to face, when I started my work life was the fact that if I was going to go on that path, my success would be long. My work will be long and all that, because there are certain things that you have to walk away from. I have walked away from certain jobs, good paying jobs, all right, within the system, because it compelled me to be corrupt. It compelled me to be corrupt. And I look at some of the people that work in that sphere, and I look at it and I ask myself, how can you work in this space and you actually say you're a man of integrity? By default, you cannot be. So the dilemma for you and I is, like you said, we cannot be outside the system, we have to be in the system. But if you have to be in the system, you have to accept to be corrupt in that system, to be able to get something out of that system so that you can somehow change the system.
Okay, I'm busting my head though. I need to understand what you're saying. Are you saying that?
I know what
saying
you're
the
saying.
system is corrupt? So how do we change?
You go in there corrupt.
Yeah. So take the political system for instance.
Yeah.
All right. The whole process of getting a candidate within the political system that we know today in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to be able to make change within the governance system in Nigeria, you have to get into the political system.
And how do you get in?
How do you get into that? Okay. You have to learn how to bribe. You have to learn how to, and so you have to accept that there's a certain level of corruption for you to do so that you can get in to be able to change the corruption and bring change. And that's where it's a dilemma for somebody like me to say, I don't want to be that. I don't have the capacity to be that, but that's what I need to be able to change the system.
I think you're spot on. Actually, your advocacy is concise but very spot on. I don't have much to say. For what you have just said, I think I'm going to say something that might not sit so well, but a part of me, very tiny parts, I might add.
20%.
Less than 20%.
This 20% will depend on you.
The low one.
Don't worry,
Less than 20%, based on what he has just said, actually believed that if the present president wanted to change Nigeria, he can. Because to a large extent, let me leave it there, right?
Sure.
But yeah, so spot on, like I said, and for me, I had this realization, 5 years or 10 years ago, when I just realized that this system is just the way it's supposed to be. It's designed to frustrate you. It's designed to make you feel like you're not even part of the system. So the system is doing exactly what you want it to do. And I hear people say, oh, these leaders don't know what they are doing. They know what they're doing. They are very systematic, intentional, strategic. Everything we have now, because these people travel. Where do we want to see anything that we've traveled to that they have not gone to? They travel, they see everything, they see how systems work. They know what they can do, but it doesn't pay them to get it done. Most of the laws that we've advocated for on this table, at the end, we also agree that if they push it, it means that a lot of loopholes will be blocked and it will affect them as well.
Yes.
So I just want to say what you have said is spot on. There's nothing to add, there's nothing to remove. The system is working just the way they want it to work.
My own is, you have said everything that needs to be said. It's so true. Your advocacy is spot on. But I feel it's time to turn the tables. Because we can't just keep going around like on a hamster's wheel, turning round and round. It's time to continually show up, speak up. More importantly, also to create your own ecosystem. Places where you find like minds doing good, helping, because you cannot wait for these people up there. Do your own good, and then hopefully it spreads out. Someone like Tunde, who is doing the chess, who would think, chess in slums, who would think that those children there could actually be so brilliant? He has turned their minds away from drugs, which is ravaging young people today, to more intentional and taking them out of those spaces. And God bless him. You know, so if we have people like that, bit by bit, we have a community that becomes big. Oh, he's here. Yeah, bigger, and it becomes better. And then you have a critical mass that will change things. I know we are in a system that is rotten, and we know where we have people there who, if they choose to have the mindset to help the people, they will, but they're not interested. And you are so spot on. They want it to benefit them. I mean, how will you use your big car on me if we're all equal? The road was good. You didn't have to splash me water, you know. How will you when you arrive at the airport, you just breeze through? Me, I'm still queuing at the back there. If we're all, I mean, it won't make sense. I remember one incident meeting David Cameron. Easy. I went to go and see my daughter in school this many years ago. I took a picture of that. I was going through the mall. Well, it's a 3-hour journey to Cheltenham. And I wanted a coffee. And there he was. Just standing. I did a double take. I said, is this not the Prime Minister? My heart was beating. I said, should I go and meet him? And he was standing there. Trust me, there were security people. But you won't. The mall was not blocked. Everybody was going. Even his people were just going, hi, David. I'm the their leader. But you can see their security people with the earpiece standing miles apart from him. So I walked up to her, good afternoon, Mr. David, I'm Kate. She said, oh, I'm from Nigeria. I said, oh, how are things? I'm like, so. With his Starbucks, he stood there. We took a picture. Asked me for the picture. It's on the internet. And I took a picture, and I walked away feeling like, oh, wow, that wasn't so bad after all. And you must connect with the people. After all, they are the ones you are serving. You're not there to serve yourself. I rest my case.
And one thing I'll tell you that he's even more secure than those ones that carry people that...
that's why they cannot come out on their own now.
They would have checked that whole mall before even him going there. But you see something for me, Bright, is that what is the system? I don't see system, I see people. And I think most times when we say the system is a problem, we take it away from the people who are actually in the system, who are causing the problem. System is just like your computer when they say garbage in, garbage out. It's the way you make the system, that's the way it is. And I think we need to start looking at these things and calling people within whatever system that they are and putting it right there at their table. For example, I'll say INEC. When people say INEC is a problem, I say INEC is not the problem. Neither is judiciary the problem. The people in INEC and the people in the judiciary and the people in police, wherever they are the problem. And so one thing that people do is, at the end of the day, is that they justify things. Oh, everybody is doing it. That's why you see, even in Nigeria, when you're doing the right thing, you are attacked more.
Yeah, you look as if you are mad.
Because it takes away that ability for them to say everybody is doing it. So why are you doing? Who do you want to prove you are the good one or the right one? And if you talk about politics, it will sadden you that people are not participating. I'm currently, like yesterday, I spent the better part of yesterday screening some candidates who want to run for council election in Abuja. I'm crying. Because the people who are there going to represent us are more jihad. But if you don't take part in it, nature abhors vacuum. They will go in, they will do it. Yes, the system as it is, whatever it is we have, it's working because some people need the status quo for them to be able to survive. How are you going to make certain money so quickly if the system is working? You're doing business. We heard earlier, you know, the gentleman that said he sells rice. I'm a trader. I've been trading since the year 2000. That's 25 years right now. A trailer of rice, after you sell it, how much do you make? Very little percentage. But someone doing nothing, not employing anyone, we go and get a contract. And they will just supply diesel. And they will get maybe like, let's say 70 million. You that you've sold how many trailers, you are counting one, but you're using it, you know,
very fantastic advocacy, Bright. That allows us to self-reflect. And I like what you said, it's the system, and garbage in, garbage out. And, you know, nature abhors the vacuum if you don't do something about it. I also like the fact that we shouldn't be used as a bad example. Let's do something about it.
Okay.
How do we change the system to work effectively for us? Or was it designed by nature to be this way?
Well, let me start by...
In less than a minute, if you can.
By prescribing what I think is the solution. I have come to the conclusion that only a revolution can change Nigeria. I don't think electoral participation is sufficient. And the other point is, what is the price that we are willing to pay to change the system? You are not going to bring change to Nigeria without being willing to make personal sacrifices. whether within the judicial system, within the electoral system or law enforcement, somebody has to be willing to pay a price. Somebody has to be willing to give in something to be able to bring change. Those who are the commanding heights in our country, they have made up their minds not to change Nigeria.
Yes.
I stopped praying for Nigeria many years ago. If I go to a church and they say, let's pray for the country, I just look at them like strange people. The problem is not spiritual. There is no fasting or prayer that will change our country. Nigerians must be willing to change Nigeria, but sadly, there is no sense of urgency. I don't think people have accepted that this is a pressing matter that should be attended to expeditiously.
Thank you very much, Nibe. And Tunde,
Okay, all right.
You have the floor.
So mine is just really a comment about the system, honestly, because I think it is both things. It is both dysfunctional and it is both intentionally curated to serve just a few people. I mean, I can't speak to a lot of the other systems, but I can speak to what I think is very fundamental, which is the educational system. I think not only is it completely broken, but it has also been weaponized in some sense. And I can speak to that because I've spent just a lot of time just trying to understand the complexity of the problem, right? And I'll tell you what the real consequence is, especially for the children. And I am also a child that rose through, you know, being removed from systems. Because I remember after my primary school education, I was out of school for 2 years. I couldn't go to school. There was no money. And my parents didn't want me to go to a public school. We didn't have money to pay for the basic requirements to go to the public school. But what happens to the child, you know, that is born in a circumstance like that is, from the very beginning, right? Let's even go back to how the educational curriculum was designed. It was designed by colonial masters that just wanted people to come out as ship and become clerks. So you see that by design, right, the system is not expected to churn out people that can be critical thinkers, right? And especially in the slums and in the trenches, a lot of these children, the first thing they miss out on is even the right nutrition, right? To have proper intellectual capacity, right? So they struggle in school, a teacher calls them a lodo, then they drop out, right? That has happened too many times. And I can tell you that even that is linked to why we have the area boy crisis. Because the kids that fall through the cracks of the public schools in the surrounding states, you know, they come to Lagos looking for a better life. They end up on the streets, right? And so by design, that fails. Also by decay, that with time, the political elite class, they're not incentivized to fix that system because their children do not need it. But I would just say this finally, that whether it's by design and the people that are also keeping the system the way it is, the consequence will come to a singularity. If you're sending your kids abroad because you don't want to fix the public education system, they'll come back and they'll face the consequence of it.
Thank you, Tunde Onokoya. You're watching a live edition of A Place at the Table. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll take our final advocacy.
Economy is so crunchy. There's a scourge everywhere from the output. The gap between Nigeria economy for now have defined both arithmetic and geometric ratios.
It's not easy, but we are managing. We that have kids, you know, the country is our country. So it's Nigeria, we have no choice.
Nigeria should be much more better. Much more better to what it was back in the 80s, and now we're in the 20s. Okay? So in Nigeria now, the government need to stop institutionalizing corruption.
There are a lot of things that I used to buy. I have to, just to face off, do as if I don't see them because of the terrible economy. For instance, I'm a kind of person that loves eating chicken. I love eating chicken, but because of the terrible economy, I can't buy chicken anymore. So I have to just do as if chicken does not exist anymore.
We are managing because as long as we understand the situation of Nigeria nowadays, so we are just like, we help who we can help with the little of our own. So, but no matter what, we are still surviving, but there's nothing we can do because no matter how we complain, it's not getting to the top.
To be honest, this economy is not funny. I don't save. Like, before you take transportation from here to here, your savings are gone, your salary is gone. Like, it's not funny, to be honest. it's not funny. It's not easy. Nobody, except for people that are doing big business or something. But for salary earners like me, it's not funny.
We are surviving. We are facing a lot in this country. We are eating 1:01, 1 in the morning, 0 in the afternoon, and 1 in the midnight. Yes, that's how we are surviving in this country. We are saving small, so that we can survive. We need anything.
I mean, cost of living is very high. Inflation rate is very high right now, as of now. But like, to say what I'm trying to say is that Nigeria would have a system, and structure is not working, and the leaders are not doing anything about that. But like,
the economy has really affected me so much in every aspect, because even with the way things are, the things that we used to buy, like food, stuff, is increasing every day. Transportation is high. Things are not working the way it's working in our economy again. So generally, most people are not even happy. Even the rich, the poor, the middle, they are not happy the way the economy is. So we are not really happy. The rent is increased. The landlord has even increased rents. If you go to people that are staying in 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom flats now, it's expensive. So we are not happy generally with the economy. The government should do something about it. This is crazy. Key Academy, a project-based school in Lagos, Nigeria, was named a top 10 global finalist for the World Best Prize in Innovation, making it the first school in West Africa to be shortlisted in this category. Meanwhile, students from a school in Anambra defeated their counterparts from the United Kingdom to emerge champions of the inaugural UK-Nigeria competition. Now, in a country where greatness happens alongside chaos, one must be highly intentional about living a decent life. With experience, I have come to agree that mindset is everything. From your beliefs to career success, emotional entanglements, and the opportunity to recognize, take on, or let go. Your mindset plays a huge role in your choices and then your lived experiences. So I would like to say that Nigeria is not the worst country to be born, raised, or live in. With this understanding, will I ever tell a Nigerian who wants to Japa not to? They don't bomb me well. However, there are things that need to be said, and I will attempt to do just that. Beyond the restrictions placed on humans through visa and immigration laws, it is very important to now note that the world has truly become a global village. With the internet and remote work opportunities, you can access global opportunities and collaborate with professionals, all from the comfort of what may seem like a remote village. The concept of geographical limitations has shifted. Opportunities can be accessed from anywhere if you have the right tools and, of course, mindset. If you're considering Japa, it's okay. But please take the time to properly research the destination. Understand the job market, the legalities of immigration, the cost of living, and most importantly, the kind of life you hope to build. Might I also add that there are so many other countries beyond the UK, US, and Canada. Ask yourself, is living the only path to a decent life, or can you tap into the global opportunities available without leaving home? The decision to leave Nigeria should be informed, strategic, and based on thorough preparation to avoid becoming a casualty of the Japa craze.
So like you said, would you want to tell somebody not to Japa? You can't. We need to understand the fact that one of the biggest problems that we have in our society is the fact that we don't understand the value of talent. And I would also say that most of the people that are leaving this country are leaving this country because the system itself, even from the educational system, university, they prepare you for the corporate world. Yeah. Do you understand? And corporations, we don't have corporations in Nigeria. Over 78% of the businesses we have in Nigeria are micro businesses, not even SMEs. Micro, that means one person with probably like an apprentice. That's the huge number of business. If you go to LA alone, the amount of corporations that can employ thousands of people and pay them good amount of money because the buying power is high. There are lots of them. But Nigeria, we don't have that. So if I go through a system, an educational system, that at the end of the day prepares me to work in a corporate system, but there's no corporation in the space, I would go where there's a lot of corporation. Because even in those society, some people don't want to even go through that process. Right? So you want to go to a place that has more opportunities because at the end of the day, it's survival. Yes, there's love for this country. Yes, I can't be anywhere more than 2 weeks. I'm like, damn, I miss that egusi soup, the one that is cooked here. But at the same time, it's a toxic relationship. Because I come back here and I'm like, the stress of having to go from one place to another. So at the end of the day, the question is, how do we create systems that can keep Nigerians in Nigeria?
Okay, Aisha.
Okay, so for me, I'll just quickly add on the fact that anybody that wants to Japa, I always encourage them to Japa.
Yes.
When we fix this country, they will come back with, you know, the talent they would have gotten there. But most importantly, it's all about survival. It's about your life. What is the worth of the Nigerian life?
Yes.
We talked about the Benue killings, almost 200 people that were killed there. But every one of them is a story. It's a human being. There's a couple, I think, either a couple or someone who had graduated. He just passed, he went to visit home and decided to pass the night there, and he was killed. So for him, Japa is not about him just leaving Nigeria. It's about ensuring that he stays alive.
For me, from the economic perspective of it, I think Japa is a great idea. It has benefited Nigeria in terms of foreign remittances. It's anywhere from, well, different figures are being peddled all around the place, but anywhere from $4 to $20 billion yearly is coming through the Japa community. And so I see it as a net plus for Nigeria. We're 230 million people. We have to go somewhere. I mean, it's the same thing with India as well. I mean, we're too many. We have to go somewhere. We have too many skills, and if people are willing to go outside there and peddle their skills and get higher value from it, and somehow send it home, as it happens in India, then it's a net plus for Nigeria. What I think that we need to do is to make sure that we're able to harness the community, diaspora community, which is out there. And a lot of them, I can tell you, want to do something back home. They want to come back home. They want to do a lot of things. That's, I think we need to harness that energy. And I will say to you that a lot of things going on in this country today, particularly in the real estate sector, is influenced by diaspora. They are the ones making property prices go up. In a lot of ways. Yeah, so it's not, for me, we're too many in Nigeria to be bothered about whether a few people are going abroad. If they are going abroad and they are remitting funds back home, it's a net plus for us.
Before you come in quickly, because there's no time, that's why I limited it.
That's why you're taking my time, Abby.
Sorry, you're darling. We're losing skilled manpower. We have a huge systemic problem in terms of...
There's a gap.
Yes, there's a huge gap. We are not producing as much as are living. I just wanted to add that.
As much as I support, having to be in the comfort of your own home while, having global opportunities. Where's the electricity and where's the internet?
Oh, my dear.
Self-survival is important. I think at this point, you need a second home, a second place to, and as much as we want to keep Nigerians here, there must be osmosis and diffusion of talents so that people go out there and see what else. If you stay in this country alone, you think the world out there doesn't have anything. But once you travel, your eyes are open to opportunities. That's all I'm going to say.
Fantastic contribution, LC, Global Ambassador for Nigeria. You're one who is committed to the Nigeria project. And I have to admire, it's not the first time
No, they can't Japa, but they should research.
And
that's all.
End up in the right.
Just end up in the right place.
Don't end up in Azerbaijan. Fantastic advocacy. But I think we have time for one online contribution, I believe. Let's be fair. We've talked to our studio audience. Let's also take it online.
On the advocacy of to Japa or not to Japa, this is my take. Okay, if we're considering just the financial reason why Nigerians leave the country, because people don't Japa for fun, right? Most people leave for cogent reasons. And one of them is financial reasons, maybe unemployment or underemployment or just economic hardship, right? If we focus on that reason alone, then I think the question shouldn't be, should I Japa or should I stay? I think the question rather should be, Nigerians should be asking instead, how can I be positioned to succeed wherever I am located? Yes, because if you don't have that question and settle the answer in a very strategic way, you would leave the country and your problems will Japa with you. Yes, so that is why I think Nigerians should rather ask, am I positioned to succeed? Either I'm in Nigeria or I'm leaving.
Okay, the comments online says, it's just people hailing themselves. The victim's card is going around. Mama dropped this one. Dixon says ranching has always been the option. Olushola Asheri says government is not being sincere when it comes to the issue of ranching. They should ask ranchers to acquire their own lands the same way farmers do acquire lands and stop land grabbing. Thank you for the comments. I think we should be able to take one studio or two studio comments on this Japa syndrome. Some have Japada and came back. It's called Japada. That's a good one.
I'll be very brief. I'll go straight to the point. So I used to be part of those who say, oh, let's stay behind and fix the country. But at this point, if you want to travel, you can travel.
Until they destroyed your rice mill.
No, I mean, I mean, you can travel and do what you want to do. When you're set, you can come back. The system is unrevocably broken. You know, so there's so much poverty, and I think poverty is man-made. You know, money is an exchange of value. You create value, you get money. So when you see politicians stealing billions of naira or trillions, you know, they're not giving the system value. So they create poverty. The opposite of value is poverty.
Absolutely.
So when you don't give any value, you're stealing billions, you're giving back poverty. You know, and it is so much in the system. You know, nobody is checking it. And you know, so if you want to travel, please travel.
Now, just before we go, we have about 30 seconds more. Tunde, you're well traveled, and Kate mentioned something about traveling, opening your mind and your horizons. What does traveling do to you?
So in the last 1 year, I've been to 15 countries.
Look at that. Look at that.
So I've been traveling quite a bit, but I'll tell you this, that the more I travel, the more I'm convinced that I have to be in Nigeria. And I say this because, of course, a lot of people would leave, a lot of people would come back, but some of us have to stand in the gap. There's no other way around it. There are too many gaps. Yeah, the government, you know, they're doing their own nonsense. And there are a lot of people that are actually good people, right, that feel so small in the grand scheme of things. But one thing I know is that all small progress compounds, right? So if you have that burden to stand in the gap, whether you're abroad or you're here, just if you're not doing it with your heart or with your money, do it with your presence. Yeah, so...
Fantastic. Yeah. A great place to leave it. Thank you so much to our distinguished members of the high table. If you keep working hard, one day maybe you can graduate to this table. But I mean, fantastic conversation. It will be nice to do this again. Keep your comments coming. The conversation goes on online. My name is Benga Aborowa. It's been an absolute pleasure being your moderator today. Until next time, see you and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.